everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are trying something new for a cherry on top. So I'm a part of their design team and we are able to select a new craft, a new technique, a new product to try for this month's YouTube hop. So I selected to play with the new Dilutions Diamond Rock line. So she came out with 6 colors in the rocks and 6 colors in the diamond dusts. I picked up pink flamingo and laid back lilac, and then bubblegum pink and laid back lilac for these colors. I went with matching colors just to stay consistent to see how they perform. And I got the coordinating medium in the dauber and the coordinating medium in the stamp pad. So I have also taken the liberty to watch a few of Diane Reevely's demo videos herself to understand how to play with this, because this is completely new to me. So I also bought, these are the diamond boards. They came in hexagons, squares, and rectangles. So I got the hexagons. I picked up a pack of the Dilution tags just because with my experience already, they show up better on black. So even with some of the diamond boards, she paints them black first in order for the colors really to pop. And then I have the new stamp set that goes with the line as well. Hence they fit the hexagon. So that's perfect. But I also love this one, and we're going to do a few stamping techniques. I've pulled out my smaller art journal that has decent size weighted paper, a stencil that is easy to trace, because I'm hoping in this video to show you a few techniques on how I learned to use these products. We're going to stamp with the medium and then do the dust. We're going to stamp with the medium and then do the rocks over it. And just so you can see the different looks. These are very pearlescent. And then when these are heated and melted down, they almost look like a glass film on top, which is very cool. I also learned a technique where you can add a little bit of water like into the cap with the powder. Almost creates like a shimmery iridescent paste paint, and you can paint too. So hopefully this video is not too long, but hopefully I can show you enough of the small techniques so that you know how to use them in the beginning, like me. This is something new, and see if you can incorporate it into your crafty projects, art journal, mixed media, and if I dare say, maybe you can even make a bunch of these and have a scrapbook layout, but at least you're playing with some mixed media in your projects. So what you'll need, clearly just any kind of stamps, you know, the line, the daubers, you know, these are optional. Grab a stencil that has kind of a gem or easy one to show. And either if you have black paper or these tags, or even I'm going to probably prep the when I do it in the art journal, I'll paint them black with the Dilutions black paint too. That way you can always see how the colors pop. And hopefully by the end of the video, I can show you a few of those techniques up close and you can decide what you'd like to try. I will leave everything linked down below. And what you'll also need, and I have to grab mine, is actually my thermal heat mat and my heat gun, which is over there. So let me grab that and we'll get started. So first technique and first stamp is to take the diamond medium as the stamp pad and apply it to whatever stamp you want to use. I am using this other set from Dilutions with these bold flowers, and all I am simply doing is wetting it down and getting a stamp impression. Okay, so first I just did the median with a stamp, and with that, she did actually offer brushes in her collection, but I didn't pick those up. So we are just going to try it. She needed like a very specific thin one to apply it, and then she kept on calling it like a fluffer brush to kind of daub off the excess of it. So let's go in first with the laid back lilac. And as I know, it stays kind of tacky, which is what is expected, hopefully. And if not, then we've already goofed this one, because it will set, is how I understand it too. Eventually it will set. Now I'm wondering if it's important to have the specific brushes that she has for these dusts, because I feel like with this one that I just kind of grabbed from my stash, not that it wasted product, but it felt like it used an excess of product. So here's me just applying it with the thicker one, and you see how I just dabbed off some, and then the fluffier one to take off the excess, and it stuck to where it was impressed, and you can see that really beautiful purple shimmer from the diamond dust itself, which actually was quite pretty. Okay, next I'm going to do the painting technique. So in one of her videos, she just showed herself tracing the inside of a stencil and how when you add just a little bit of water and make the consistency, she explained or described it just as being like the consistency of whole milk, which, I mean, I don't drink that much milk, so I don't know. But in essence, she said, if you added too much water, it'll be streaky. And if you add too little, it'll be very clumpy on application. So somewhere in the middle where you can kind of play with it and know that you can have, in essence, like coverage. What's going on with my thing? So let me finish doing this part. Let me make said paint or, spritz some of the product where I'll need it. And then we'll paint this pattern with, I'll do the pink next. So you've already seen me stamp it and the amazing shimmer that it is. And let's do this one. I watched Diane's demo. She used the lid of the dust. She spritzed a little bit of water and then added the powder with the back end of her brush in order to get the consistency. She described it of like milk. She said if it was too watery, it would be streaky, and if it was too thick, you would have like clumps of that dust being in the like paint itself. So you need someplace right in the middle, and this is me just kind of making a little bit more because I used it. And it does provide, in the similar way of just stamping, a beautiful sheen with that paint illusion. So this could be great for just detail work on a project or a page. Okay, so that was painting with it. Now granted, I didn't, stay completely in the lines, but you can see that pink, nice, high shine shimmer. And it wasn't too hard to make. And as I understand it, even if this dries, the water will evaporate and you're left with the product that's just kind of in its mica form again. So it does no harm to the product. So those are two ways so far to use the dust, painting with it and classic stamping. All right, let's move on to see how we use the rocks now. Okay, so I've inked up with, this is the Close to My Heart archival ink, and I took the florally one of the hexagon, and she said the best way was always to place this down on it, which is a little reverse for us stampers. But if it gives a good impression, I'm all about flipping things around. Now, the only problem with this one is that I'm going to stamp this one and stamp one more. And it needs to dry and set before we can do the heating technique. But at least you can see where the tile starts. And if anything, let me stamp up another one. Let's do this one. And that way we'll have two going on. And I can do, actually that'll work perfect. I can do one purple and one pink. One just stamping with archival, she just said that she stamped it and then put them to the side for them to completely dry because you don't want them wet. So let's play around with the rocks next. So as I understand, you'll take a board, and it works if it's white or black. She just always kept on indicating that it's more vibrant, the colors, when it's on black. But let's just do a white one so you can see the process, at least on how these are expected to be melted. She always did, she explained in a lot of her videos that she does 3 layers. And this process is almost like embossing. So I haven't tried, that would actually be a technique to try, stamping and then putting the rocks on it and slapping it stick where it would stick with this medium. So I wonder, because it could just be like a thicker, more textured, embossing powder, but it just gives this very glossy high finish. They almost look like tiles. Okay, as I understand with the rocks, we put them down and then we pick it up and just tap off the excess that comes off the plate. That like bloom, or she called it a flume of color, is normal because her rocks are tumbled with the pigment. They are not actually like dyed rocks. So that is expected, so don't be alarmed. And it takes 3 layers to get a look that she was happy with. So I just went with the 3-layer technique as well. And you have to dump the rocks when it's still hot. That's how it's able to stick to that surface again for that look of complete shininess. Okay, so that was 3 coats, and this is going to be really hot. So, well, let me bring it up on the paper. And let's see if you can see that shine. Oh yeah, see that shine? It's like a tile. And it's very cool. So what I'm going to do, instead of just, you can leave it like this clearly, but she did also a cool technique when you heat this up and it's still hot. If you stamp up a stamp and with the medium, the stamp pad, and then put an impression in there, it will take. So let's try that as well while I have this one. And you only use this medium so that this doesn't get stuck in that. So that was just another moment. So let's just heat it up again and then impression. Okay, we're heating it up again and then just going to press that stamp into it to get a nice impression into that rocks. Worked. And it worked. Look, that impression is there. So then what she did too was, now when it was still like this, she went in and added the dust in those details and it looked beautiful. Let's try. So here's a moment once again where I feel like, do I need the brushes? Because how do I really apply the dust into it? So I still grab the same brushes I've been using because we're rolling with it. And I think what happens here too is that the laid back lilac is such a soft color compared to the pink that it's just gives it a nice sheen. I wonder if I have maybe the blue or the red or the green, would it show up more on the pink? So I just think it's because of the color. It's very soft. I'm wondering if I did, okay, here's that technique. You can see the purple in those grooves. So I'm wondering if the wetter the stamp impression, like it still kind of looks wet, is what binds that dust on there. But for my first impression, that is pretty cool. All right, let's see if we can, I know. Okay, let's try stamping this again. And then just doing the rocks on the impression and see if this will behave like embossing powder. So once again, just heating the rocks up initially for the first time once you pour them on does take a while for it to kind of heat up with the Ranger heat gun. The next layers afterwards are easier because it's already used to being heated up. So just know that when you're playing with it, which gives me the idea too that I'm wondering how I could use this on an art journaling page. Simply because of anything that's behind it, so it has to be a page that maybe doesn't have anything that would be compromised behind it, because you have to get these rocks so hot in order to melt and set. So once again, I just feel, and I think I'll mention it in the outro, like it's good in like isolated tiles like this, and then incorporate those tiles into your artwork is probably going to be the best way to play with these products. Okay, so you can use it kind of like an embossing powder, but the details won't be there, is what I learned from that one. So here is the stamp, and then here is how it fit. So it's just a different look, a different technique, a different product. And don't get me wrong, what I know now too is that all of her demos were done with the clear rocks. Which I didn't purchase, but the clear rocks worked perfectly like on everything. So for instance too, these have set for a little bit, they're not wet, and I'm wondering, because the clear went over all of it, I'm wondering. So here's what I'm wondering. So when she did it, she had clear. So then she went in with the dauber and then did it. And they came out to be like these perfect tiles. So in my head, though, I'm thinking if she did that in clear, I'm wondering if I do it in pink, it would just color in what is white. But I'm wondering, because of the way this application is pretty opaque, that it might cover up everything. Unless I only do one layer. Well, you know what? This one's more black. Let's see. This is totally to see, because it's wherever this is. Maybe if I only do one layer. So let's just do one layer. So do know when you are playing with these products, because you have to use heat in order to melt these products, these tiles become very hot to the touch. So you see me kind of holding them delicately on the outside and stuff. A, not to also move the product, but B, also because they do kind of get very hot in the process of melting it, which once again has me feel like to do a page with this would just disrupt the other mediums around it, perhaps. Okay, with one layer, it's kind of a cool effect because you can see it. Now the camera's not really doing justice, but it has this purpley sheen to it. Now granted too, you can see my application wasn't perfect because there are some holes, little craters, but that's part of learning something new, so I'm not mad at it. Very cool. All right, so this one was mostly black and I did the lighter color, so let's see if this one works with the hot pink. Okay, so one layer works well with this technique. So if we had the other colors, this would be good, especially with the stamped impression in the back. And of course, I smudge the middle section of it, so I have to apply a little bit more medium and then add a little bit more of the rocks. And of course, I fudge that up too. But that is part of this process, trial and error. It's not perfect. It's not meant to be. We're learning. Okay, so one coat for that one, except for where I messed it up. You saw me mess it up. Has the black show through too, and then makes it the iridescent-y appearance. That really shiny tile looking. Now, thoughts right now while we move ahead and make a project with this product. I think it's good to use in isolated little things like this, because I feel like the process is, these products are harder, especially the rocks. If I was doing a whole like scrapbook layout and wanted a section with it, I don't know how you can have it in there, but having them on the tiles is doable, and then you can adhere these, but by all means they add quite a lot of bulk because this is chipboard. Same with these. So like maybe they'd be good. Oh, but the thing is that, where's that tag? So like here are those techniques, but like if I had them on a tag, I can just insert the tag into an art journal page. And let's just kind of make a page with what we've learned so far. So I am using my Dina Wakley. This is the blue denim journal, and I'm actually going to use the denim page because the denim tends to be in talk like the hard page to use. So here I am just trying to use the same hexagon stamps with the same archival ink. Let's stay consistent with the products and use it in a way that kind of adds the same elements from the tiles onto the background paper. And I'm just using Tombow liquid glue. Let's attach those tiles. And I try to do another simple step of adding the stencil butter through a stencil that is a new one to me, but I kind of fudged it up over there on the right, but that's okay as well. It'll set and dry, and I've added now ribbon to the tag with all the tiles on it, and we will simply staple this onto this page. This is a complete experiment. It's not meant to be perfect. We are learning here, and learning is part of the process, because I bet you in another 2 attempts playing with this product, I'm going to make something fantastic soon. Okay, that will wrap up my first session of playing with something new. Is it perfect? No. Did we learn how to use the product? Absolutely. So in order to kind of track our progress, I used the denim sheet in this Dina Wakley album, which I think denim was always the pages that are a little bit harder and trickier to use. So I just decided to mount that tag on there with my little demos. And we will play. We will see if I can find other ways to use it. May not always be perfect, and that's okay. That's part of this learning process. So I hope you'll join me for some art journal lessons from time to time using products that will be found at the cherry on top. I will leave what I've used down below. There is a hop today, so follow along with other creatives who are doing different, things, anything art journal. And now we have some things to do. And even this one in general, I think, if I hadn't mentioned it, is new to me. So I haven't used too much. I've done like this in here. I've applied a napkin in here, but I haven't done anything with it. I've sprayed this one, and then that's all that's in here. So this journal in general will be a trial and error to see how I like using the different substrates, because it's like canvas or watercolor, the denim's in here, and then these burlap pages too. So it's a little different for me. that's half the fun. I'm looking forward to experimenting. Thank you so much for joining. Please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and until next time, everyone, bye.